The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao, AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tucker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Poppy, you look divine.
Well, you know, it's the season.
It's the season, absolutely. Alfred Richard, movie critic for WWL-TV. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
Great to see you.
Great to
And Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. A little later, a blast from the past with a holiday video from Benny Grunch in the bunch. But first up, Poppy, a reflection of the restaurant season, looking back and looking ahead.
A reflection of 2023. And I have to say, if I could get in a time machine, I really would like to go back to 1923 because New Orleans must have been incredible in 1923. And I think this because let's see who's been celebrating their centennial. Well, Camellia Beans. Camellia Beans celebrated 100 years in 2023. They were so generous and gave away 1,000 bowls of beans through Second Harvest Food Bank and the Baton Rouge Food Bank. They took their red beans into Orleans Parish schools to make sure that the school kids got the connection between the Monday and the culture and the red beans. Really important work. Bravo to Camellia. What else happened in 1923? Well, what goes on beans? That would be Crystal hot sauce. And they celebrated their centennial this year also. And then, and you know, what doesn't go with Heavenly Hash? Because Peggy, Heavenly Hash was 100 years old in 2023 too. So God bless them all. And here's to another 100 years for all three of them. Now, speaking of another 100 years and then some, that was one of the big things that happened for me in 2023 was when Dickie Brennan bought Pascal's Manali. And Dickie is ensuring that that New Orleans landmark will be there for another century. And the big news from Manali's is that in the new year, they're going to be opening for lunch on Tuesdays. That means they'll be serving continuously from 11:30 in the morning until 9 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Not a lot of restaurants are doing that now. Now, Dickie also in 2023 acquired all of the Audubon Institute business, all the catering at all their facilities. And that means that the Audubon Clubhouse is now a Dickie Brennan restaurant. And I want to point out that it is going to be closing for restoration for just a little while, January through Mardi Gras. But when they come back, when they reopen after Mardi Gras, there's going to be dinner service there. It's going to be a fabulous spot for private parties. So much fun. And now, to go someplace entirely different, we're going to go from the Audubon Clubhouse to Algiers because honestly, New Orleans has an entire new restaurant district, and that is happening in Algiers. And of course, most recent acquisition there is Nighthawk Napolitana, which is fabulous pizza. Adrian Cholette, he started off at Ancora, and we all know how delicious that was. But I would just like to urge everybody to take the ferry. Plume Algiers actually has a T-shirt that they sell that says, "Cross the damn bridge. And so right next door to Nighthawk in 2024, Rice Vice, best bar in Nashville, it's going to be opening up. There's fabulous French food at Tanti's Hand. Barracuda Taco has a branch over there. There's a 40-year-old fried chicken business, Chubby's, that just acquired new owners. They're going to be expanding. And so Algiers is the new restaurant district of Orleans Parish. And I'd like to urge everybody, just cross the damn bridge.
That's great. I love it. And looking forward to looking ahead.
Oh, that's right, of course. Tana. I was so excited about crossing that bridge. Michael Gallat is pretty excited because he finally got Tana open on Metairie Road. He's been working on it for such a long time. It's a beautiful space, and Michael's food is always delicious. And, of course, that's joining Mofo and Maypop. So now Michael's finally celebrating his Italian roots out on Metairie Road. And then I also have to give a nod to my personal favorite new restaurant, and I have to say the New York Times agreed with me, and Food and Wine agreed with me, Mamu. If you have not been to Mamu, go to Mamu. It's perfect. It'll save you the price of a plane ticket to Paris.
Yeah. Oh, right.
The food is exquisite. Just watch. Wait till those James Beard nominations show up.
Poppy, you know, something's always about to open. It's
Yes,
just, it's
that's
been a
what's
very
incredible.
exciting year.
We saw a lot of restaurants close, and that was unfortunate, but it seems everyone that closes to open up.
It's
What a restaurant town we
very
live in.
impressive, yes. And moving over to Alfred with some movie news.
Yes, indeed. And that Mamu is just down the street from Channel 4. So I think that's a good place to head to.
Yes.
This 2023 has been a year that could be best described as surprising in a sense. Yes, we've had the writers and actors strike that caused everything else, and that closed Hollywood South and productions in New Orleans. But there are a couple of things that really stand out for the year. If you would have asked me in the beginning of 2023 if a movie called Barbie would be something that you would wish to see, I would have probably said no, I would have thrown a flag on it. But no, Barbie, probably one of the best films of 2023. It's subversive, it has intelligent bite. Greta Gerwig as the director is really, really good in this. And of course, the acting, Margot Robbie as, of course, Barbie, and Ryan Gosling as Ken, or one of the Kens in the film.
And what about Alan?
Agreed. Yes, there are some great things in this. I say Barbie is one of the best movies of 2023, and expect a possibility of getting some Oscar consideration for that. Also, another film that came out, and we had a weird period of time when both Barbie and the film I'm going to talk about next, Oppenheimer, came out at the same time, and you had people putting together movie viewings of going to see the light and frothy and thoughtful Barbie, and then going to see the serious, thoughtful Oppenheimer all in the same weekend. That one's a little tougher of a but I love this film as well. Cillian Murphy plays Oppenheimer, and directed by Christopher Nolan, who does just about amazing work in almost everything from the Dark Knight trilogy to Inception to Interstellar. This film is one of the best films of the year, too. Very thoughtful. And another film that is just coming out right now. Remember, some years ago, Steven Spielberg took on this novel by Alice Walker called The Color Purple. Got a numerous number of Oscar nominations, but unfortunately won nothing. But now we have a new version of The Color Purple. This one starring Fantasia Barrino as Celie. She portrays the big, strong voice in this one here. Also, Taraji B. Henson, Jay Henson, she is in this film as well. It's more of a musical, but as Oprah Winfrey, who of course was one of the actors and is now one of the producers of this, said, quote, "This ain't your mama's Color Purple." This one does work as well. So The Color Purple still is now in theaters at this point, but again, Barbie, Oppenheimer, also The Holdovers, another good one there. There's just been a plethora of very good films this year.
Just a quick P.S. Barbie dolls were especially popular this year. What a surprise.
I know
What a
that because
surprise.
my two great nieces, Kaya and Corey, have both said they wanted Barbie dolls for Christmas.
There
So
you
I
have
had
it.
to get them Barbie dolls and clothing to match.
Okay, continue on, sir.
Well, I have this point of as not only these are films that I saw in 2023, but these are the films I will look forward to in 2024. One is a return. It's called Mean Girls. Now, if you remember, Mean Girls was a film that catapulted Lindsay Lohan to semi-stardom. Well, Lindsay is not in this one here, but it is starring, it's written by the same young woman who gave us Mean Girls in the first go-round. This one is going to be coming out on January 12th. So it's about to arrive, so get ready for more Mean Girls and see if the word fetch can become popular again. Dune. The first Dune film came out, and of course this is a redo after the 1984 Dune, which of course, I will kill him. But no, this one is a very good take off a number of parts. This is part one. Well, part one came out earlier. Part two is coming out at this point in 2024. And I'm very happy to see that because it was a great film the first time, and it will probably get Oscar nominations for the next year, for 2025, because it will probably stand out in that. It comes out on March 1st.
I am really looking forward to that. Actually, I'm a Dune fan. I didn't like the original movie, but the remake.
Right.
Yeah.
But of course, remember, he who controls the spice controls
That's
the
right.
universe.
What's wrong
And-
with their eyes, Alfred? No,
I
I'm
know.
just kidding.
Well, I kept wondering about that myself.
I'm just
The sleeper has awakened. And as for my third film that I'm really looking forward to, you know, if you're seeing things in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? Well, once again, the Ghostbusters. But this time, it's the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This has some traits from the original Ghostbusters series and, of course, the redo, the Ghostbusters Afterlife. Strangely enough, not much tag in with the one with Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Heaven knows why. But this one will come out on March 29th in 2024. So look forward to busting some ghosts.
The last Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Okay. I saw the promo for that 4 times. Never saw the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
But it kind of got buried. You know, but with COVID and so many other things, it probably didn't do very well. Did
It didn't. It did better when it was on a streaming service because people were able to watch
Yeah.
at home. But in the
But I
theaters,
kept seeing the promo because I kept saying, coming soon, coming soon. It was delayed. The opening was delayed.
It was delayed,
It kind of got
and
lost.
so now that movies are in production and they're going to start getting more productions into the pipeline, hopefully this Ghostbusters will be successful. Otherwise, if it doesn't, it may freeze the franchise for good.
Yeah.
I know I had to say
From the
it. It's in the
promo was
script.
very odd, very odd. But anyway,
Well,
thank you so much.
Ghostbusters is an odd
Well,
group.
yeah, odd but quirky.
Yeah,
you know.
yes.
But anyway, Alan. Speaking of odd, but no, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of,
I'm sorry. I couldn't
so I
resist.
had a real quick question. The color purple I thought was going to be based on the musical, but it doesn't have all the music from the musical. Is what
No,
you're saying.
it does not.
Yes.
But it does have John Baptiste providing some music. So
All right.
good to
Okay.
get another little
All right.
Louisiana,
All right.
New Orleans connection.
That'll make me want to see it.
Yeah.
So looking back at 2023, I wanted really to cover a lot of the shows that I thought were some of the best in local productions first. They're really in no particular order, but I thought I would start out with one of the strongest performances I saw on stage last year, and that was the incredible Lance Nichols emulating August Wilson in How I Learned What I Learned, a tour de force for the celebrated film and TV star at Le Petit Theater. It was a true highlight of my year this past time. And again, for those of you who caught the opening show at Summer Lyric Theater at Tulane, The Music Man, you cannot forget the positively unforgettable performance of Rachel Looney, who was a near perfect Marion Peru in that one. This was also the first year for the Crescent City Stages Company Productions. They were at Loyola University and Marquette Theater. They had some very good shows, including the recent A Christmas Carol and Cry It Out. But for me, me, the best they offered this year was their production of Vanya, Sonia, Masha, and Spike. It was incredible. And another ensemble piece directed by Gary Rucker recently was Stephen Sondheim's Assassins. It was at Rivertown. It was a brilliant musical with Vatican Loki, David Hoover, Michael John Smith, and Michael Cittavano taking on some of the major roles. Again, just a really wonderfully put together show. Meanwhile, another great director, Leslie Castay, she directed Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein to great effect at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center. And that had Michael Paternostro starring as Victor Frankenstein. Of course, Michael was mostly known as a music director, so it was sort of a change of departure for him there. Over at the National World War II Museum's BB Stage Door Canteen, I saw a wonderful production of Randy Otto coming out as Winston Churchill in this really well-crafted piece he did called The Blitz. He is a historian and a terrific actor. He stayed in character throughout the show and was able to actually answer questions in character from the audience. This was something, if it comes back, do not miss this. Meanwhile, Leslie Castay finished Young Frankenstein in time to star as Tallulah Bankhead, Darling, and the very funny and poignant Looped at the Westwego Cultural Center from JPAS. Also, the Tennessee Williams Theater Company had many extremely finesse productions, including Suddenly Last Summer and Night of the Iguana. But my favorite was Sweet Bird of Youth with Rachel Groves as Princess Cosmonopolis. And if you saw it, you'll know she was incredible. Summer Lyric's other two productions, I mentioned, of course, Rachel Looney and Music Man, were also notable. First of all, it was a pleasure to see John Grimley on the right there as Fagin, and I took the shot of him and his former partner, Diana Shortez, from, if you remember, Dog and Pony Show. And then, of course, Keith and Leslie Clavry made it a real family affair when he played Seymour and she played Audrey in the fantastic production of Little Shop of Horrors, along with three members of the Mixon clan all singing as well. Now, for the set design alone, Intramural Theater's Cave was amazing, albeit a bit on the weird side, but I thought it was notable. And speaking of the Mixons, since I mentioned them earlier, I wanted to congratulate Whitney Mixon and her entire family on her win as Stage Door Idol 2023. There she is with her sisters and her mom. And again, it was a family affair, and it was so good to see her win that because she'd been in that a lot.
Alan, I have to tell you that I sat next to her family for the Christmas spectacular of the LPO, and one of the
Mixons, she was in that.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, she was in it, and it was just so nice. Like she had a rooting section.
Yes.
It was very, very dear.
Yeah.
And she was also terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
New Orleans, by the way, was home to several national pieces that had performances here. Sanger Theater, of course, being the heart of it. The pre-Broadway tryout of what was actually called A Wonderful World, not A Wonderful World, but A Wonderful World. And here's leading actor James Monroe Iglehart with me right prior to him getting into that role at the Sanger. Then they took that road, like Louis Armstrong went from New Orleans to Chicago to New York. They took that road up to Chicago, and they performed in Chicago for several weeks. And now they're waiting because James has now gone off to Spamalot, where he's playing King Arthur.
On the way to Broadway, right? He was on the Macy's parade.
Yes.
Singing a
song
from
so
Spamalot.
the whole point is that we cannot have, depending on how popular Spamalot is, we can't have him get out of that role for it probably, I would imagine, about a year. So, because it's doing very good business right now. So we'll see what happens. Also, Roman Banks performed on the Sanger stage in the national tour of MJ. That's the Michael Jackson musical. And I have to tell you, I saw the Tony Award winner Miles Frost when he did it in New York, but Banks was really every bit as good as Frost, and we saw a superb performance by him, Roman Banks, in MJ. This is also a good year to also say goodbye, unfortunately, to some really important people. I wanted to mention, of course, we say goodbye to director Perry Martin, one of the most successful of all our local directors.
Sweet man.
He made money with nearly every one of his shows. And of course, we lost Michael Howard, the longtime artistic director at Summer Lyric Theater. And again, those will be very, very difficult people to replace. And again, we will miss them immensely for all that they contributed to the local theater scene.
Thank you so much, Alan. Yeah. And as we continue in our holiday mode this week, we thought you might enjoy a taste of nostalgia from Benny Grunch and the Bunch with When K&B Stayed Open for Christmas.
KB was open Christmas, KB was open Christmas, KB was open Christmas, and all day on New Year's. KB was open Christmas. KB was open Christmas. KB was open Christmas. And all day on New Year's. Medicines of all description for any condition. Pick up Mama's prescription. And we're not done. Get your sweeties, Funny Valentine, and Mogan David grape wine. That'll get her every time. Ice cream, I'll want. Cherry, vanilla, peach, chocolate, marshmallow. King Creole cream and vanilla praline. Butter, pecan, berry, Napoleon. Fudge, ripple, rocky road. Oh, it's all gone. Aftershave for Pop's chin chin. Fizzy stuff to soak his teeth in. Don't forget his K&B gin. And a large tube of Gleam. Face creams for the whole night. Roll-ons to make you smell right. Pantyhose to hold the skin tight. Look, magazines. TV Guide, Home and Gardens with modern romance. Foreign cars, field and stream. Learn how to dance. Crosswords and comics. Tweety Pie and Sylvester. Study electronics. There's a TV tube tester. Nectar soda for a nickel. King Burger with a pickle that made your tongue tickle. Let's go upstairs. Downtown, the Canal Store sold cameras on the 3rd floor. Penny scale by the front door. Got my harmonica with me. Register at checkout. Your receipt had purple printout. Purple matches for your cookout. Can't miss employees. Purple socks, purple laces. Mardi Gras Day, purple faces. Purple us of all places was okay and
Yay! For Ain't There No More t-shirts and Benny Grunch music and other items, check out his website at bennygrunch.com. Some quick memories of K&B. Oh my goodness, you've got your K&B purple
I got my K&B
jacket
purple
on.
as matter, and I still remember getting that dietetic vanilla ice cream from my mom.
And
back
frozen
then.
cream cheese ice cream too was really good. Do you remember something called the Blue Laws? There were certain things you could not buy,
yes.
and so there would be ropes draped across some of the aisles. Like for instance, you couldn't buy. This sounds very odd now. Pantyhose on Sundays. I had no idea why you couldn't do that, but you couldn't. But let's talk about the liquor, Alan.
Well, I mean, I remember that the charcoal filtered bourbon that they had was named Yendis, and that was Sidney Bestoff, his name spelled backwards. So, you know, if you wanted to order Yendis, you knew what you were getting.
I love it.
I just want a nectar ice cream soda.
That's right.
That's all I
Sure miss it. And I think I have some K&B playing cards somewhere. But anyway, time for picks. Poppy.
Well, don't forget your luck and money this New Year's. And if you don't have time to cook it up yourself, Donald Link and Steven Strajewski at Koshan Butcher has you covered. You can get a whole New Year's Day dinner for 4. Order it by December 30th. But I checked, and there will be limited availability for grab and go. So if you find yourself without them, and by the way, in the grocery stores, when the Camellia black-eyed peas show up, you may wonder, why did I have to wait this long to get them? That's because every year Vince Hayward says there's a rush because it's harvest time. So they literally have to harvest the black-eyed peas, get them in the packaging, and get them in the stores for us. That's as fresh as you're going to get.
Oh, my goodness. And also cabbage. Cabbage is another one, too. Yeah. All right.
2024, yes, it's going to be the year that the Eras Tour for Taylor Swift is coming to New Orleans for several nights. But you can get a jump on that. On Saturday, January 13th, the 610 Stompers will have our Errors tour as part of the debutante ball. The theme is pop stars. So you may see several stompers. You might even see me dressing up as Elton John on that night. It's going to be at the Mill is going to be at the Fillmore down by the casino.
And you're marching with the Stompers.
I'm
again,
marching with
once again.
Stompers.
How many years?
I'm now, God, this is now my 14th season with the 610. The Chocolate Thunder rolls on.
Ordinary men with extraordinary moves.
And shorts as well.
Oh, well.
Alan.
So coming up as part of the Broadway Across New Orleans series next year, I suggest you not miss the Dominique Morisseau script of Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, which I saw at the Imperial Theater on Broadway back in 2019. It's a magnificent musical bowing again after Mardi Gras around February the 27th. And also for those who are looking for another superb musical outlet, you won't want to miss Rob McClure starring opposite his real-life wife on the road in Mrs. Doubtfire, which netted him a Tony nomination. It'll bow in May, and again, you won't want to miss this. He's incredible on stage. And of course, you remember he was also Chaplin in Chaplin and was in Beetlejuice. He's a great, great performer.
All right, thank you. And just a reminder about the midnight fireworks over the Mississippi River on New Year's Eve. Go to CrescentCityCountdown.com for details. And I just have to say Happy New Year. Looking forward to the coming year. As always, I'm so grateful for you all. And thank you very, very much for watching. Good night. Happy New Year.
See you at the theater.
Be seeing you.
The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao, AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.